Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to PSGL. You are watching the PlayStation F3 Championship, and we are here for the third round of the season here at the Circuit Paul Ricard in the south of France, Le Castellet, to be precise. What a race we are in for here this evening. It's a track that can provide overtaking through its fast chicanes, through its long sweeping turns 10 and 11, and of course its very tricky third sector. But joining alongside me for this evening, as you can see that side of me, and once again repping the Pierre Gasly profile picture, it is Brendan. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. We're in for what should be another good race around Le Castellet. Something you might not see say every time in real life, but usually in the F1 game you can get some good racing here, particularly down the back straight towards the chicane, because you're able to just get that little bit closer in the Formula 1 game given the equal cars.
Yes, the equal cars is something that you can run a little bit closer maybe through the long sweeping corners, and we should be in for a great race this evening. Let's take a look then at our drivers and constructors standings heading into this evening. You can see on your screen now it is Tyne who leads the drivers standings with 24 points, picking up 2 consecutive second places at the Spanish Grand Prix and the Singaporean Grand Prix. It's then Keke in second position, followed by Anriu in third. It's then Ralchio, it is Damiano, and then it is Simon, Mubarak, LRB, Jospran and Zane rounds out the top 10. Further down the order then, it is Marcus Bacchi, and that is your top 12. Taking a look at the constructors standings then, as you can see on your screen now, we have Red Bull Racing who lead, picking up 12 and 16 points in the opening 2 rounds, which is quite a low number necessarily for teams, but they have picked up 28 points in total. It is then Williams, Alfa Romeo, Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, Aston Martin, Alpine, AlphaTauri and Haas. So an interesting situation in terms of both standings. France, a track that can provide a little bit of upset. Brendan, will we see a big shuffle in the order this evening?
Well, we probably won't really know that much up until qualifying. However, France, obviously, if you do go off, there's a chance to give them the whole run off. You might still be able to manage it, but even still, France, things can, when it doesn't invite battling, obviously that invites crashes. So you could see a bit of an order switch this evening, and it might even be a fault of anyone really. It could just be a bit of unlucky contact. However, it looks all dry for qualifying, so that takes out one variable.
Yeah, we're going to head to the on-track action in just a moment, and it looks fairly all dry. But we'll take a quick look at the track map briefly before we get going. 5.842 kilometers, 3.630 miles with 15 corners here in Le Castellet. We'll take another look at the track, obviously, before the race gets going, But now, ladies and gentlemen, we will head, or we should head, to the on-track action now, folks. There you go. You can see the feed wasn't just coming through for us, but it is there now. We head to the on-track action. No cars out on track now, but you can see Damiano's Mercedes engineer getting ready to unleash the beast. In terms of our pole, if you'd like to call it, it is Anriu who's on top, and I have a feeling Anriu is kind of like 2016, 2017 Max Verstappen, where he will win every vote that is available to be won.
Yep, for context, if you weren't watching before around that time, Max Verstappen won Driver of the Day in USA in 2016. He retired from the race.
Yeah, it was an interesting time in Formula 1 history where Max Verstappen won practically every Driver of the Day award available to him. Anriu has won every pole so far this season, I believe, but we will see if he can take pole this evening here for Alfa Romeo. We're looking at Ralchio then heading round on towards the Mistral Straight, the longest straight here in Paul Ricard. However, we've slapped a little chicane in the middle of it to make things a little bit more interesting. This is, of course, turn 8 and turn 9. As this is turn 8, you see the drivers cutting a lot on the inside then, and then heading through turn number 9. You can see Ralchio heading through there. Is the game audio working? Don't believe it is. We will get it working in just 1 second, folks, as game audio should be coming through now. So looks like I did say to Brendan before we started that not everything will work because it always sets up too smoothly. But now I believe everything should be in order as we going to get some laps on the board fairly soon, I think. I think we can see Anryu actually heading through the final corner, turn 15. It is certainly a dull evening here in Le Castellet. It's normally quite sunny around the French Grand Prix. Of course, it is the height of the European season. It's around June time, usually before the Austrian Grand Prix, which is first week of July, there or thereabouts. Anryu heads through turn number 1 and turn number 2 and down towards turn number 3, braking zone. Just there, that Rolex board, you can see it's almost the 50-metre mark. You want to cut in on the inside and cut in on the inside of the next corner as well, and then heading through here, easy on the throttle and easy out of the throttle. That's turn 6 and in towards turn 7. And then heading down the Mistral straight towards turn 8. You can open up the DRS. This is when Formula 1 cars will open up the engines. Heading down in towards this chicane. And then you want to run a little bit over the curbs here for the braking zone. Run right on the white line. You can see Anryu taking the absolute maximum of the track limits over the curb of turn number 9. Heading down towards turn number 10. That yellow flag at the fact in the final sector, apologies. That is just cars slowing down. Flat out through turn 10. This will be flat out unless we do get some tricky weather conditions. If it starts to rain, that corner will no longer be flat out. The long sweeping turn 11 and then in towards turn 12, and then it is just a couple of tricky sweeping corners to finish out the lap, but not bad so far from Anryu.
Yeah, Anryu, he's probably setting the pace here soon enough. Usually Anryu is a good benchmark here. Sancho is. He's going to set the initial benchmark, however, 1:30.2. Now, Anryu, what's he going to do? Will he beat it? Or is it going to be Fatah's goal? Not quite.
He doesn't beat it, and there would have been a lot to expect him to beat it. There goes Denzo to the top 129.8. Next across the line is going to be the Scuderia Ferrari of QRT Ralchio. Across the line, he's going to go to second position, 0.016 off pole position, and then the AlphaTauri of Hav will be next across the line. Of course, AlphaTauri had a French driver in their car for the last couple of years. No French representee, I believe, for AlphaTauri this evening. That's the championship leader, Tyne, goes to third for Red Bull Racing, and next across the line, we're going to have to wait a bit. It's LRB who's heading through, or just entered into the third sector now. Let's see what the McLaren can do, heading round in towards the final couple of corners. Currently 6 times on the board here in qualifying, looking to add another with the McLaren. He will add another. It's a valid lap. Here comes LOB to the line. Can he challenge Denzo maybe at the top? It's a long run down to the start-finish line. LOB will go to 5th position. He's about 5 tenths adrift off. Paul Marcus goes to 6th. There'll be another time on the board. That's Mo Barak, who goes to 8th position, I believe. It's then going to be the Red Bull Racing of Izza across the line. That's going to be good enough for a 4. That locks out the second row for Red Bull Racing. Both Mercedes still about to start a lap. Zane is going to be starting another lap. Looks like Zane's made a mistake on his hot lap. He'll be starting another one. You can see it's in the 50 marks. He's 23 seconds off pole. Not quite making the 110% or 107% rule, I should say. Apologies. He will have to go again. But both Mercedes starting runs. This is FVO Justbrand and TF Damiano. A very strong lineup for Mercedes. They'll be looking for a good result this evening.
Yeah, a good result. This from Mercedes wouldn't be the worst team for them. Anyways, if I just check the standings now, actually, just to see what Mercedes are doing. Well, you see, the drivers are really quite the championship at the moment. However, if they were to push up towards that, then maybe they could get a bit closer. However, I have to see now is I believe you see Justbrand, well, he's invalid, so we'll have to wait a bit to see where the Mercedes guys are.
Yeah, Justbrand invalid. Zane on another decent run, just hitting the minute mark, heading through turn number 11. Not a corner Scuderia Ferrari drivers and fans will be too fond of, especially in these 2022 spec cars. Of course, young Charles Leclerc having a crash there in the 2022 Formula 1 French Grand Prix. Ralchio and Zane will be looking to avoid that this evening. It's not a corner where you traditionally see cars lose grip like Charles Leclerc did. Obviously, this is a video game. It's different to to real life. Zayn heading towards the line then. Will he be able to challenge his teammate up in second position? He's going to only go 8th position, 5/10 off pole. Not quite the lap Ralkio was able to produce for Zayn, but still a solid 8th position and a lot to improve on for him. It's a good benchmark time for sure. Sepala as well then heading through turn number 8 and 9. Heading down towards turn number 10. The Williams, slightly underwhelming maybe in terms of the championship. His teammate Keke is certainly up there, but Sepala, some say slightly underwhelming, as we would expect a man with a heap of PSGL F2 experience to kind of be a little bit further up the grid.
Yeah, sometimes it's a case where maybe they are coming a bit down, maybe the form isn't quite there as much, so maybe sometimes you being dropped down in a way can just cause you to maybe performance to step down even further. It might take a bit of time for them to maybe pick themselves up off the floor and then start moving back up towards where they feel they want to be.
Yeah, that's not a proper lap from Sepala. He's going to have to go again. Let's see what Lewis can produce, maybe. No, Lewis just in on an out lap, so obviously pit. Damiano is the next one on a run, and that's just gone invalid. So Damiano making a mistake as well. Both Mercedes drivers invalidating their times in the early parts of qualifying. They'll have to most certainly go again. Although everybody will be going again anyway, so that goes without question. Sanchez going to start a run now. Sanchez was the first to set a time in this session, currently sits 5th for Haas Formula 1. He's going to have to go again here. He heads through turn number 1 and 2. Sanchez, don't believe we've seen him on the grid so far this season. I think he was absent for the first 2 rounds, but Sanchez certainly a familiar name to those who've raced in PSGL, and Sanchez will be looking to prove himself here in the F2 tier. It's a decent improvement in Sector 1, but still time to be found.
Yeah, time is always the thing you try and find in France. Is with the long corners in particular, they're more of a more comfort you feel with the track. There's going to be a lot more time to gain. Is the correct line here is so important, really. Because if you have to find that little balance between speed and just to minimise the distance. And in this case, you often see times really drop towards the end of the session as the grip starts to come round.
Yeah, track will certainly be improving here in Paul Ricard, and I can safely say the Anryu army is out in full force this evening in the stream chat. As always, they are certainly the ultras of the PSGL F3 tier, but we certainly respect them, and well done to all supporting Anryu on his PSGL adventures. But Sanchez then has got a clean run in, and he's going to head towards the line to see can he beat Denzo's time. There goes Anryu to 3rd position. There goes Sanchez to 4th position. So some improvements here already in the middle part of qualifying, I suppose you could say. Here comes Marcus towards the line then for Alpine. This is actually not going to be an improvement. Marcus seems like he's made a mistake somewhere. What about Hav? He was up by about 1/10.5 in the middle sector. Hav going to look to try and get closer to that pole time of Denzo, currently the best AlphaTauri, because he's the only AlphaTauri, so no pressure on beating a teammate. Hav improves to 7th position. It's then the Red Bull and Izza coming across the line. Izza set the lap late. Actually only starting a lap. That's that silly little glitch where the outlap thing it doesn't turn on. What about Ralkio? What times is he putting in? Heading down towards turn number 10, minimalising the distance, or minimising, I should say, the distance to turn number 10 by coming across the curb. 0.034 of an improvement for Ralkio so far. Heading down through turn number 11. Beautiful camera angle. Thank you very much for Codemasters for that one. We'd love to race. You can see they run a wide line here through turn 12 because it kind of lets you hook it up a little bit better through turn number 13. And the Irishman certainly hooking the whole lap up nicely in towards 15. One of the trickier corners, make or break for an overtake, maybe in towards turn number 1. On board with a Ferrari. That's Mubarak to the top. That's a huge run. 29.6. Ralkio goes second alongside Mubarak in the front row. That is a great lap from Mubarak. 129.638. Mubarak sets the pace then here in qualifying. Still some big times we can see as Izza improving by about 0.3 of a second. 0.325 to be exact. And we do hope we can see Izza maybe improve. There was an improvement there from Marcus. Beats Denzo. So Denzo still yet to get another time on the board. He's just behind Izza on the circuit. Here comes Izza then heading down towards the final corner. That's a bit slidey on the rear for Izza. Doesn't look like there'll be much of an improvement here on this lap. But heading towards the line, it's going to be a 129. No, it's going to be a 130. No improvement there. Denzo dives into the pits. Obviously was no improvement for Denzo. Tyne improving by 1/10 of a second. Very interesting proceedings here with 5 minutes and 50 to go on the clock.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Mo Barracks now comes up there after what wasn't the best first run by his standards, really, but now you found the pace there, so very much in the fight for pole position. And it'll be interesting to see where he is around Ryu. After a very good around Spain, maybe Singapore was decent, if not brilliant. However, now he'll be looking to see if he can just push himself up there a little, because if he's kind of stuck around that 5th, 6th, 7th area, it's probably not going to help him if he wants to challenge for a championship.
Tyne improving to 6th position for Red Bull Racing. Red Bull now 6th and 9th. They had locked out the second row at 1 point here in qualifying, so they'll certainly look to improve. There's Damiano getting his Mercedes up into the top 10. That is Damiano going to 9th position. And Damiano will be looking to improve on that. Justbrand and Damiano, two of the bigger names maybe here in the tier. Of course, you can tell kind of by the esports teams, FVR and TF, two big names in the community team field, I suppose, if you'd like to call it. So Damiano and Justbrand will be looking to improve, as well as Sapala and Lewis, both not getting represented at times on the board. 8 seconds and 9 seconds off. Obviously, they can do better than that. Obviously, hopefully they will do better than that. 4 minutes and 14 to go. Nobody really on push laps. But still a very interesting qualifying here. Let us know down below, of course, in the poll prediction, if you haven't already, who you think is going to get qualifying. And once again, we'd like to remind you, if you're enjoying the action here in PSGL PSF3, to pop a subscription or like the stream.
Yep, all support is appreciated. But stick around here. We have actually a very nice pole position fight for you, and the race should be even better if everyone does keep as close as they are right now. Particularly the 2nd to 5th group, all in the 129.8, and just don't know, that order could be completely jumbled up by the time we are done here. So, and who knows, you might even see Mo Barrack fall into that 2nd to 5th area if this final run does not go his way.
Lewis heading out on track early, just to get maybe 2 runs in. As Lewis obviously not on the pace he would like to be. Lots of dull cloud over the Circuit Paul Ricard here in Le Castellet, France. But no sign of rain. There's only 3 minutes to go in qualifying. Wouldn't have an impact unless it started literally lashing down now, or if it was a traditional British or Irish weather, like me and Brendan experience on a daily. But Lewis out way earlier than everyone else. This is just to get a bit of free asphalt in front of him. No dirty air, not impeding. No impeding in front of him, and just to maybe get a clean lap on the board. Doesn't necessarily have to be the fastest, but certainly if it can be quicker than 9.8 seconds off the pace. You can see the cars just coming out. You can see that's a very tricky pit lane. We may see some incidents into this first corner. I said no impeding for Lewis. He's going to get the exact opposite. There's McLaren planted on the apex. That's LOB. LOB not moving out of the way, and Lewis has to back off. Maybe a potential trip to the stewards for LRB. He wasn't really aware of the car behind him on a push lap. Thought he came out behind him on the pits, and Lewis now will only get one bite of the cherry. That's why he gave himself a little bit of buffer time. And the Hassman will have to go again. That's very unlucky through the first sector, but a common occurrence in sim racing and Formula 1 racing and whatever racing alike. Probably in NASCAR it might be allowed, but certainly in the single-seater racing, you're not allowed to just park in front of someone on a push lap. The fan favourite then, currently 7th position. This is Anriu building up to start his final qualifying run of the day. A minute and 36 on the clock. This will be the final run starting for all of these drivers. They'll all get round to start one, I believe. Sanchez might be pushing it a little bit close, but should certainly get around if he pushes. Here comes Anryu then, heading down towards turn number 1, looking to use 4th or 5th gear here, depending on driver preference through this first corner. You want to hook it to the apex of turn number 1, almost looking from the little sausage curbs, right over the camber of the curb on turn number 2, and look for the little ridge in the edge, heading down towards turn 3. Run it right to the white line, flick the car in. That's too much for Anryu. You can see he's pushed it in too much, and that's the end of qualifying for Anryu. That'll be the end of the session for him. And that's a very rare but costly mistake for Anryu, because it'll be a maximum start of 7. Here's the man currently on pole position, much more timid through the first couple of corners for Mubarak. Wasn't quite pushing as much as Anryu was. Let's see if he runs it right along the curb. No, so Mubarak taking kind of a cautious approach here, but it seems to be working as he is on provisional pole position by 0.166. We'll see if QRT Ralkio can beat that. Mubarak slightly down in the first sector. Ralkio only starting his lap now, so a very interesting fight for pole position. Marcus heading through the first couple of corners right on the edge. That was certainly quicker than we saw from Mubarak. Let's keep an eye on what the home team can produce here. Marcus heading through turn number 3 and 4. Alpine 3rd and 5th at their home circuit. You can see the car almost blends in with the paintings on the right hand side. 0.016 improvement for Marcus. For now, Mubarak down in the second sector. It's not looking better. That is the checkered flag out immediately. That is the end of qualifying. Let's see what the Aston Martin can produce then in this final sector. If he doesn't improve, he's still okay. Still has the best lap on the board as of now. But as Brendan said earlier, lots of track improvements available here. Lots of track that will be more rubbered in. Mubarak heading through the final corner. If this is an improvement, I'll be absolutely shocked, because it's not been the best of runs. There's an AlphaTauri of Hav heading around the final corner. No, 0.4 of a second down. That's the end of the session for Mubarak. Has he done enough? Hav improves to 9th position. LRB involved in an impeding of Lewis, but he improves to 7th position. Mercedes slow across the line. Here comes Izza across the line now in 7th. What about your championship leader, Tyne? He's going to head across the line now. Here comes the Red Bull Racing Man. Can he improve? He's got second 2 consecutive times. He gets second in qualifying. Great improvement there. There's going to be the Alpines now heading across the line. There's Marcus in Valencia qualifying. No real improvements, but Mubarak takes pole position for the French Grand Prix.
Yep. Sometimes it's just a bit anticlimactic, where the Africa best run in on the second goal, and then the third goal maybe going a little too much. And sometimes you just reach in on it, you find it a little more sooner than you think, and then it's just on the downhill. However, Mubarak is not bad for it. He took the win last week, so it is another opportunity here for him from the front of the grid.
Yeah, Mubarak was really good in Singapore, but your starting grid then, it is Mubarak, Tyne, Keke, Ralkio, Marcus, Denzo, Lewis, Izza, Eloy and Anryu. Rounds out the top 10, then it is Sanchez, Hav, Damiano, Yusbran, Zane and Sipala. We're going to go for a quick commercial break. We'll be back in 37 seconds, you can count them. Welcome back to PSGL PSF3, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the track map on your screen. There is 15 corners, 5.842 kilometers. But we are not going to dilly-dally. We're going to be heading straight away to the racing action here in the Circuit Paul Ricard. Let us know your predictions down below in the stream chat. We are going to get going racing in 10 seconds. Brendan, one word prediction. And that is the
action.
one word. One word was from Brendan, so hopefully it's not an race. Action here in France. 2, 3, 4, 5. Red lights. And we go racing here in France. Really good launch from Tyne there on this front row. He's got a decent getaway heading in towards turn number 1. Alpine's looking to make some move here in their home circuit. Mubarak leads into 1. Denso dives in towards turn number 2. He's got the launch of a lifetime up 3 positions. Oh, big collisions in the background. That's Marcus running wide with the Scuderia Ferrari over Alchio. Marcus getting caught up in it there, heading in towards turn 3. A real kerfuffle in the backpack. Oh, it's a 3-car collision. There's a Haas, a Mercedes and Marcus off the road. Justbrand involved in that one for the Mercedes team, and Ryu gaining positions. He's up 3. Denso, though, with a great start, was almost up 4. Dived down the inside of Tyne, heading in towards turn number 1. Ralchio down 1 to 5th position. He'll be looking to try and pick up the pieces, and we can see Denso just looking to try and work an overtake on the Red Bull. The biggest gainer in the opening lap was actually Sepala, who started last here in this race. So Sepala with an absolute excellent launch, heading down towards turn number 10, on board with Denso. Just look at him slipstreaming this Red Bull Racing. Denso might have set the car up for the race here, because this car is flying on these hard compounded tyres. Heading it towards turn number 11. A little bit wiggly for the race leader in front of Mubarak, but it seems to be working out nice and okay for him. Bit of movement in the background. Sepala and Damiano side by side. Damiano has to be really careful not to tag the McLaren in front of him. Look at Sepala trying on the exit. Look at the traction that Williams has got round the outside. It's going to be an oh so difficult move if he can hold it, but if you can just be patient enough. Now it becomes the inside into the final corner. Turn 15. Excellent move from Sepala. If he can just get the exit, he has got the exit. That's a piece of artwork, literally, that overtake from Sepala. He's got the job done. Heading in towards turn number 1, and the Williams now already into the points paying positions. Damiano, bit of work to do in 11th position, but nevertheless he can certainly do it. Denso all over the back of the Red Bull Racing, but looks like Fede wasn't able to get in on the grid. That's oh so unfortunate for Fede here, but Denso still attacking the Red Bull at Tyne. But what a hectic opening lap already. Justbrand and Marcus in for a pit stop.
Yeah, Justbrand and Marcus, it's not been the best opening lap, particularly for Marcus, given he is in an Alpine.
Oh, here comes Denso. Denso looking to try and make up some lost ground for Alpine. Down the inside in towards turn number 8. Easy as you like for Denso. He's got that one done. Not too sure if Tyne was battling it, but that is a good move from Denso. Damiano goes round. Horror start for Mercedes. We said Mercedes would like to do well here with 2 big names. They're doing anything but. They've been caught up in 2 separate incidents. And Damiano 14th, Justbrand 15th. Looks like Denso might be looking for the race lead fairly soon, because he's right on the back of our race leader Mubarak. Mubarak would love to be the first man to win 2 races this season. Of course, the opening round was won by Ryu for Alfa Romeo Sauber. Tynes comes second in both races as he leads the Drivers' Championship with 28 points. A 3rd place today would be an amazing run of consistency, an amazing podium streak for Tyne, but he's going to have to work for it, and that goes without question almost here in PSGL PSF 3. Sepala just pressuring the back of Lewis, and the Williams just has to wait his turn maybe here, just has to wait and see what can come from it. Lewis, of course, was down in the depths of hell almost come the end of qualifying. He was blocked on his final attempt and was last, but he managed to get one more run in, and now he's scrapping for 7th position with Mr. Fan favourite Ryu. The Ryu army out in full force here in the stream chat for the French Grand Prix, but Ryu is going to have to be in full force if he wants to get something here, because he's going to have to defend from Lewis. Just seems to have enough straight line speed, and maybe running a more straight line speed driven setup than an aerodynamic one in towards the chicane. You can certainly see Lewis gaining some time, but Ryu gets it all back on the exit. Tyne looking to try and get past Denso, but overall we're starting to fall into this little bit of a DRS trade again. But some drivers won't be complaining if your name's Denso, because he is in a really good spot, and you can see the race leader in sight. Heading through the final sector then. Tyne just look at him pressuring Denso. The Red Bullman's trying to work something here. He's trying to make a move stick, but trying is good, executing it is arguably better, as not able to make it work. That's a little bit of a mistake from Denso for the final corner. You could see Mubarak really pushing away, and quite crucially here, Denso, for the sake of everybody's race behind him, needs to keep in that DRS of Mubarak. Can't let Mubarak get away, because the DRS is a crucial factor to winning a French Grand Prix, you want to utilise that drag reduction system as much as you can. Lap 4 in the French Grand Prix, it's still Mubarak leads, it's Mubarak, Denzo, Tyne, Keke, Ralkio, Izza, Anriu, Lewis, Sepala, and then LRB rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, so far, Sepala with that penalty, I feel like he has got the positions, but now that's probably going to be a bit of a hamper to him all race now. I see 3 seconds there, that dropped you right back out of points, so I'm not sure really what he can really do there. Just run fastest lap, but obviously he's had to pit, so it's not really going to be a mere consolation to him at the moment. I would say Denzel, he's doing very well to stick with Mubarak here. I see Mubarak, well now they've checked, well, he got penalised last week, so he didn't win. But maybe this might be the chance for redemption here today for Mubarak, if he can just avoid crossing the pit lane. Thanks.
He crossed the pit exit line, didn't we? I actually think it was us that caught that, not any of the drivers. But Mubarak did lead from start to finish pretty much in Singapore. He's looking to do the same here in France. Of course, narrowly lost out in Spain. I do say narrowly. It was not by the narrowest of margins that he lost out, but he lost out because of Sepala spinning in front of him, and then he just collected into the back of him. It was not Mubarak that lost the win, if you want to put it that way, but he didn't win, and he didn't win in Singapore because of his own mistake. He'll be looking to keep it uber cool at the front, and he'll be looking to win this one. But down the back of the order really is where the battling is happening for the time being, and it seems like Anriu, Lewis and Sepala are all drivers looking to make ground. But of course, if you keep tripping over each other, you're not going to make much ground. So these guys have started to bed in, work together, and try to attack Izza. Izza has a 3-car train almost attacking. And Izza will be doing well to keep them all behind because it's 3 drivers with a lot of pace. However, Sepala picking up that early penalty. We'll just double check and see. Oh, hold on a second. We won't double check and see because Sepala actually falls behind LRB. LRB gets it done in a straight line. That McLaren is now up to 9th position and not under threat of losing the points. So it seems like that Sepala is doing well. Denzo then on attacking for the race lead. Lewis, look at this alongside Anriu heading into the final couple of corners. The Haasman, how has he got that one done? How has Lewis got that done? That is an unbelievable move. That is an unbelievable move from Lewis heading in towards the final corner of turn 15. He's got that one done in a straight line. That is magnificent. That is one for the archives. That is a splendid move from the Haasman here on lap 6 out of 27. It's still Mubarak who leads and nobody looking to threaten him for the time being.
Mubarak, he seems happy enough now. Denzel has dropped off a little bit. He might close up a bit here. It seems like he is. He has got a straight line good to 9 speed setup, as he is pretty much running on empty for electrical deployment. It is, yeah, he seems to have a very nice car in a straight line, or he's just able to get really nice exits to just benefit him, because he is literally running on empty right now, and it isn't really what you'd want, especially with Mubarak having more than enough there. I think he could burn and try to get out of that 1 second really if he wanted to and just manage the prize.
Yeah, ERS management is crucial here around France, because when you have such long straights, and of course they are consecutive straights, you have the straight down towards the chicane and then the one arguably down to turn 11, you got to use a lot of battery. And Mubarak just looking a lot better on the ERS front, as you can see him lead. There's starting to be a little bit of a gap forming, maybe between Lewis and Izza and between Ralkio and Keke, and Ralkio will be looking to keep in touch with these top 4. He will be looking to just try get a podium out of this one. Maybe it'll be difficult from here, but we still have 20 laps of racing to go. Anything can really happen still in this French Grand Prix.
Yep, anything can, happen, and it usually does. Said the great Murray Walker, and well, that's a basic. You can probably apply to most anything in life, really, but especially Formula One, because you just don't know all it takes. There's just one little mistake here, and this race could turn upside down immediately.
Yeah, this could turn upside down in a matter of moments, and it has in F3 so far this season. Spain, of course, we had that sudden safety car where everything was tipped right over, except for Anryu winning the race. That was the only real confirmed thing. But he did have time chasing him down in the dying laps. Anryu has a lot of work to do because he's in 8th position. It's not really the result he would have wanted, because he is a man in championship contention. He's a man who would love to win this PSGL F3 championship, and he would certainly love to get a better result than 8th maybe here in the French Grand Prix. But heading down for the final couple of corners to start the 8th lap of racing here, all these drivers on the hard tyres, apart from the two at the back who had to make early pit stops, were not really going to be seeing any strategical battles, maybe apart from undercuts and overcuts, because of course they're all on the same tyre.
Yeah, it seems to be just very much now strategy in a way. It isn't. You don't see the kind of differences the way that we someone used to. So almost everyone now goes for the hard tires to start off with, because well, it seems like everyone knows now that well, it's better to use the hard tire early on and then go to the soft compound rather than the other way around, because you would just get swallowed up. So you just see everyone on the hard tire. Then so once again, low ERS Mubarak, he's got all the ERS in the world. It seems like as long as Mubarak doesn't make a mistake himself, this race is pretty good for him.
Yeah, if Mubarak doesn't make a mistake, he will win this one. But he does still have Denzo right behind him, and despite Denzo having an ERS deficit, he's still charging and applying the pressure to the Aston Martin. And there might be a move on from here down the inside. No, it doesn't work out. He just sits behind for now. Bit of battle down the back, it seems, between Hav and Zayn. Hav, once again, another man trying to pile on the pressure in towards turn 11. Just not worked out for now, and the AlphaTauri just has to sit behind for the time being. Of course, these are battling for the fringe of the points paying positions.
See, because everyone there, from 1st to 12th, is all within DRS range of each other. That is pretty much what PSGL is in a nutshell.
Pretty much. In every tier.
Yep. Every single driver just within a couple of tenths of each other. Just the usual.
It's Tyne. Tyne is now the man looking to make moves, really. Denzo got past Tyne in the early stages of this race. And now, oh, Denzo round! Oh, just as we speak, Denzo goes round, and Tyne actually collects into the back of him. Not sure if there's damage for the Red Bull, but that is certainly a monstrous error from Denzo, and the Red Bull man has just collected into the back of him. We saw his front wing actually go under the Alpine, but I think Tyne may have got off scot-free. That is an unbelievable piece of luck for Tyne if he's got off scot-free from that one. Denzo goes spinning out of turn number 5. And that is him down to 10th position. Oh, so unlucky from Denzo, but it's an error that he's made himself. And I genuinely think Tyne has got off scot-free. He's gone into the side of the Alpine. Not too sure how he's got off scot-free, as we see Denzo losing a position to the Ferrari of Zayn. He's now trying to go up the inside of Zayn. That's never going to work out when your tyres are a little bit older. And now this just unleashes the train. Look at LRB and Sipala looking to try and gain some spots out of this one. Sipala looking to try and get up past the McLaren of LRB. This is going to take some amount of work if he wants to get past into the final corner like this, but doesn't manage to do so. Quite crucially at the top of this race, Mubarak is pulling Tyne out of a DRS gap. That is huge for Mubarak's race. Absolutely huge. Lap 9 saw a lot of drama with Denzo go around, but there's a lot more to come here in the French Grand Prix.
Yeah, this French Grand Prix still has a lot to come. Obviously, when the pit stops come, we may well see some drivers swap places, depending on whether they can make an undercut work or the uppercut somehow works. Although I think at this kind of track, the undercut is really, really powerful as you get tires warmed up.
Oh, yellow flag, that's Justbrand. I think that's in the pit lane, actually. Don't believe that is an on-track crash yet. It's in the pit lane. So Justbrand becomes the first retirement here in the French Grand Prix. We are down to 15 runners. F0 Justbrand for Mercedes. He's been nowhere really all race weekend, if you like to call it. He had that early first lap crash involving himself, Marcus and Sancho Wiz, and that took him out of running. And that is the end of Justbrand's day here for the Mercedes outfit. Sepala past LRB as we were talking there, and Sepala's flown away from LRB. He's looking to get back into the DRS window of Mr. Fan Favourite Anriu.
Yeah, he was trying to get into that back in the DRS, but it's difficult enough. Once you do lose it, it's hard to get back to it. So he's going to have to burn a little bit here just to get back in. And well, at this point, has he got the... Yep, he has got within DRS range here, so he's going to be able to open up that wing.
Good effort there from Anriu. Or not from Anriu, apologies, from Sepala. Good effort from Sepala to get back in Anriu's DRS. He's just about got, I think, down the main straight. That's not going to help him. Huge wobble on the curb of turn number 2, which sent him out wide, and then had another bobble over the exit curb of turn number 2. Somehow he still kept in the DRS window. Needs a good turn 4 and 5 if he wants to get with Anriu. Needs to push through here, but not too much. We saw what happened when Denzo pushed through here, and no, he hasn't gotten the DRS. So Anriu will be able to pull a bit of a gap then down this straight, because we saw Anriu cater his car more towards straight line speed. As up the top, Tyne is starting to attack Mubarak. Tyne is a lot better on the ERS front than Denzo was when Denzo was in his position. So maybe we'll see Tyne launch an attack on the race leader.
Yeah, Tyne has a little more to use in a fight with Mubarak than Denzo had. So now Denzo, he's stuck in 11th, and I'd say he's actually found a little bit of ERS now, but he's going to struggle to get back through. And once you just drop down, sometimes your confidence drops down, you don't drive as well after. I mean, for the next few laps until you sort your head again.
Yeah, confidence is a big thing in PSGL, because if you're running low on confidence, you're not going to get good results. You have to be confident from the start of qualifying, with 18 minutes to go to the final lap in the final corner until across the line. You have to be confident. You have to be cool, composed, relaxed, and confident. And there's a spin like that will kill your confidence, because Denzo, we saw he was running well, made a mistake. Speaking of mistakes, that's another one from Sepala. We saw he had a wobble through that corner on the last lap. It's much worse this time, and now he's dropped to 12th position. And a mistake like that, just as we said, is confidence shattering. Sepala down to 12th, not a penalty for Lewis. That is in 6th position. Lewis running well, but that penalty is going to jeopardise him a little bit come the end of the Grand Prix. Ralkio now progressing forward, looking to try and attack NLR Keke. Yellow flag, that is once again for Sepala, so bigger issues for the Williams racing machine, and the Williams racing driver's teammate is now under pressure from the Scuderia Ferrari of QRT Ralkio, with still no big moves. We should see medium pit stops maybe in the next couple of laps. Hopefully, for the sake of this race, we do.
Yeah, the next couple of laps are going to be crucial. Some drivers may well start to drop off in terms of pace, and you may see some little breakaways happen in the middle of the field, off the back. However, like some Mubarak and Tyne, this is the crucial part. Tyne wants to just be managing it, make sure he keeps within that DRS, because Keke is right up behind him. And well, these two are coming out toward B championship contenders this season. Mubarak may well end up being one as well, but his start of the season hasn't been that great for points, so at this point to be a little harder for him in a way.
As Havgo comes into the pit lane for a set of the medium compound of tyres, that's a very early stop. But when you think about it, we only have about 14 or so laps left in this race. We've done 13, so if he can stretch the mediums right to the end, he might be in a good position maybe for an undercut. Certainly going to struggle towards the end on his tyres, but who knows? Here comes Lewis past Isothan. This is for 5th position. Lewis has got that one done. Usually the old adage is easier said than done, but that one was done easier than it said, because Lewis was passed by the time we even noticed it. Heading into the braking zone, and looks like Zane and LRB. This is going to be a bit more difficult. This could be side by side into turn 10 potentially. Look at LRB. He's going to keep trying to fish this one up the inside, or is he going to have to slot in behind? No, keeps it up the inside. Oh, so close. Bit of wheel banging between the two. Looks like Denzo going to try and hang it around the outside. Heading through turner 11. Denzo has got the job done. LRB was just maybe a little bit timid through that corner, and Denzo's got the job done. Back up to 9th. Recovery drive is well and truly underway for the Alpine here on Alpine's home turf. He's got the job done, and he was the one struggling with ERS for the majority of this race. It's now Zane, as now we have a lot of drivers into the pit lane. That is Keke in, that is that's Anryu in as well actually, and that is Zane also in. So those three have come into the pit lane for an undercut on the mediums. This makes things a little bit interesting now. Let's keep an eye on Keke when we see Mubarak and Tyne pit, which I imagine might actually be this lap.
Yep, this lap, we have a few in now. So, people think he can take advantage of the undercut, and sometimes the softer tyres, like a medium, can be better to manage than the hards, because, well, you get the grip faster, so you're not having to really tear through the tyre to find a big grip, and then realising it's all falling through when you try to tear to break in that tyre. So sometimes it's just getting that the grip earlier on allows you to manage more, rather than trying to make well, pretty much ice tyres try have grip, and then once you've made them have grip, you ruin them.
Yeah, you don't want to finish this race on a crappy set of mediums, because that won't feel nice. That's all. The other flag in the first sector is for Sanchez. He's coming for a second set of the medium compounded tyres, and really for Sanchez and Marcus, it's just praying for a safety car at this point, but they're keeping themselves in it, because of course you can't win, or you don't win if you can't. Hold on a second, we'll try that one again. If you are to win in, you can't win. As Mubarak and Tyne are now into the pit lane, as is Rockio, and he was very close to tapping the back of the Oracle. Red Bull Racing in front of him. Lewis is going to carry on and lead this French Grand Prix for at least one lap, as he heads across now to lead lap number 14. Keke is heading through turn 13 in towards turn 14, and then it just is 15 to go. It's one of the shorter pit lanes because you don't have to do this final corner, and of course it comes out right on the racing line, so you're not necessarily jeopardised heading into towards turn number 1. Damiano pressuring Sepala in towards turn number 1. Here is Keke heading down the start-finish straight. Here's Mubarak coming out of the pit lane. This one's going to be really close into turn number 1. Keke gets past Tyne, but he's on the better tyres. Is he able to get past Mubarak? This is crucial corners for this Grand Prix. Here comes Keke heading down towards turn number 3, the finish, looking to try and get this job done, potentially on the DRS straight. He doesn't want to let Mubarak's tyres heat up too much, but he does have that DRS assistance down towards turn number 8. Runs a bit wide, gonna get a worst line arguably onto the main straight on the Mistral straight. Mubarak might be home and dry here. This is not good for Keke. He's got a horrid line on towards this start finish straight, and Keke braking for the chicane now, really diving it in late. He's putting everything on the line for this race lead. Dives right behind the Aston Martin, looking to get slipstream. Best chance now is turn 11 on this lap. If he waits any later, the chance may be gone. Looks like Mubarak might be okay here. Seems like he's got the tyres up and to temperature. No move available for Keke. He's got one spot, but it's not worked out in the long run, because that undercut was definitely played for the race lead. Mubarak still with the provisional race lead, as it looks like the top 4 all into the pit lane. Yellow flags. That doesn't seem like it's for anything major, as we'll see where Lewis, Izzet and Damiano come out. Sepala is going to carry on, and after that little bit of a spin, Sepala is going to try something different and maybe hope for a late full course safety car. But Mubarak will take the race lead when Sepala pits. But it'll be Keke in second place, or will it? Will it be Keke in second place? Tyne dives up the inside of the Williams, side by side, heading through turn number 2. That was a really late send from Tyne. Didn't look like he was close enough alongside, but heading into turn 3, they're still side by side. The undercut's not worked out for Keke, because Tyne is back through, and the Red Bull Raceman is in provisional second place. He's finished second twice this season. It could be 3 of the best seconds for Tyne. But quite crucially, no DRS on the Mistral straight for the Red Bull. he's fallen out of that 1 second window. Ralchio's
Yeah,
looking to try and get past Keke as well. This could get worse for Keke, then better. Here comes Ralchio up the inside, heading into the Mistral chicane on the Mistral straight. Keke just forced to concede. Great move from Ralchio around the outside, and the Scuderia Ferrari man is through and up to 4th position. Provisional 3rd. Ralchio is on a provisional podium here in PSGL F3. He's 5th in the driver standings, I believe. Ralchio 3rd on the racing circuit. Once Sepala comes into the pit lane, that's not worked out for Keke at all. That really has not worked out, and Keke loses the position. May potentially loses Anryu. Look at him wobbling all over the curb. There's no battery. Keke seems to have lost his mojo a little bit here. Seems like he's just fallen out of that drilled rhythm that he was in. And he may certainly lose this spot to Anryu. Keke down to 5th on the racing surface. 4th provisionally on the timing screens once Sepala pits. And a fastest lap for Team S1 Mubarak here for Aston Martin. But quite crucially, Tyne has got back into a DRS window.
Yeah, well, that's good news for time, because otherwise you would have been under pressure. So, I'll just say that Anryu, there's an opportunity here to get past KK, which I'm sure will please about 50% of our viewership, I'd say. So, Oliver, it doesn't seem like he got the best line there.
No,
so,
I don't think he's got the best line out of that corner. And I'm not too sure if Tyne has DRS here. No, he didn't get it, but he's in it now. So Tyne is burning his ERS. If you look at the steering wheel of Mubarak, he's in a much more comfortable position. Mubarak is looking really good in this one for a race win. The race win that he's been asking for the last 2 rounds. Lewis is battling with Izza here. Lewis is going to try fly past the Red Bull. Heading in towards turn number 10. Lewis has got the job done. And Izza's going to have to just sit behind now, potentially re-attack into turn 11. No, that Haas has got a much better line through there. Lewis has looked much better this week than he has in previous appearances in the PSGL F3 PS tier. Lewis up to 7th position. That penalty will hurt him a little bit, and that one will hurt even more. He's just picked up another 3 seconds while we're riding on board with the Haasman. That will drop him potentially behind Zayn if Zayn's able to close up. Exiting the final corner, then Sepala does enter the pit lane, and Mubarak will take the lead on track. Heading on to lap 18. Tyne 2nd, Ralchio 3rd, Keke 4th, Anryu 5th, and Lewis, who's just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix with a 1:32.235. Goes to 6th position, Izza 7th, Zayn in 8th, LRB in 9th, and Sepala is going to look to come out of the pits in 10th. No, it's going to be Damiano who's in 10th position. However, Sepala will get out there, and I believe there was a mistake somewhere along the line for Hav, because he was the first one to pit, but he's been back in the pits again, as we can see. Tyne getting a poor run there out of the corner. He's got to get the DRS on this lap though. The Red Bull back with that extra km/h assistance.
Yep, that DRS is such a valuable thing to have, especially, well, as you're getting towards the pointy end of league racing. You just need to be able to have that little lead. Because if you don't have it, well, everyone else has, or well, in sort of case, the leaders are just out there and do their own thing. You're just not really going to be able to do much. If you don't have it, you're probably just going to fall back towards others who are able to pull each other along. So it's good for Tyne that he can get that, and that means he's protected from behind, and he can start to look maybe towards making a move for the front.
In towards the final corner to start the 19th lap of this French Grand Prix. If you're enjoying the action here in PSGL PSF3, make sure to like and subscribe to the PSGL YouTube channel, and make sure that you let everybody know that PSF3 is the best tier on the PlayStation platform for PSGL. But certainly we are getting to an interesting stage in this French Grand Prix, because there has to be a point where Tyne is going to launch an attack. I think settling for 2nd place, although it'd be a good tactic, is not what Tyne wants if he wants to win a championship. He's got to attack for a race win at some point, because of course we have seen him finish 2nd twice here in the PSF3 Championship. Mubarak won on track in Singapore, picked up a penalty, was on track to win maybe in Spain, had to get past a couple of cars, and he's made a mistake here again. Was going to say, and he was caught up in a mistake in Spain. He's made a mistake here in France. Is this time for Tyne to attack, heading in towards turn number 10. Tucked into the slipstream of Mubarak. Surely this is going to be an attempt in towards turn number 11. Mubarak takes a defensive line. There's contact between the two. The Aston Martin goes round. Ralchio sees the C's part in front of him, and the Scuderia Ferrari leads in the corner where it all went wrong for Ferrari once upon a time. Anryu looking to attack Mubarak. Lewis looking to attack as well. Lewis, who we've said was also good on many occasions here today. He's looking to attack for 4th position up the inside of Anryu. He has gone for it up the inside of Anryu, and Anryu is looking to just defend here. This has all gone wrong for a number of people. It's now Ralchio and Keke battling for the race lead. The two Red Bull racing cars are side by side. Tyne is surely going to be let through here, but look at this. He's going to try dive up the inside of Lewis as well. This is going to be close. There's definitely not enough space for an overtake there. Heading in towards turn number 3. Keke still pressuring the back of Ralchio. Ralchio didn't expect to be leading the race at this point when he was in 3rd position. Heading into turn 11, he leads into turn number 3 on the very next lap. Sipala sets the fastest lap of the race. That's looking like good pace for him, recovering on a fresher set of mediums than most. Down the Mistral Straight for the 20th time in this Grand Prix. Certainly, this is the most crucial time in this Grand Prix. Look at Mubarak tucking right into the slipstream of the Williams racing in front of him. Is he able to make a move? Keke not able to make a move on Ralchio. Mubarak not able to make a move on Keke. But this is really where the best opportunity arises, and this is where it all went wrong. Just about a minute and 30 seconds ago, heading in towards turn number 11. That mistake from Mubarak. Is it going to be another mistake that costs him? Side by side between Tyne and Lewis. Tyne looking to go up the inside in the corner where he made contact with the Aston Martin. And it looks like Keke's got all out of shape in the front of the race. Mubarak still looking to pressure. Somehow a mistake turns into a golden opportunity as Ralchio lost his front wing. I think Ralchio's lost his front wing. Mubarak battling with the Irishman. Ralchio has lost his front left end plate in some unbelievable circumstances. Couldn't tell you where, but Ralchio loses his front wing. Mubarak hanging it round the outside of the Irishman, who is quite literally holding on for dear life here on lap 21. There's cars everywhere. The two Red Bulls are still side by side. Ralchio still looking to pressure Mubarak. It is all kicking off here in Le Castellet. Ralchio's not going to be able to hold it round the outside with damage. He has to cut the corner, and he's going to have to concede position as well to Anryu because he gained a lot of time on him. The German still side by side with the Ferrari in front. Anryu gets the job done round the outside or more. Ralchio had to back out to Red Bull, still looking to capitalise on this as Sipala retires from the race. Lewis shoves Ralchio off the track, and if this race couldn't get even more dramatic, the full course safety car is now out.
Oh, that's a gift for Ralchio. He can get in and change his wing now. Maybe go for a sprint on soft tyres. It has ensured he's not going to fall down anymore. Now brings it a few others back into play. You don't know what could happen here. And seeing that Keke, he's all of a sudden been handed a race lead that realistically was not on the cards for a lot of this Grand Prix, apart from maybe half a lap.
My goodness me, what a twist. What a twist. Avatar in the comments saying penalty for Tyne. He touched Mubarak. There could be a penalty for Tyne in this one. Tyne now in 6th position ahead of his teammate Izza. What do these guys do then? Do they stay out? Do they pit for the softs? Marcus has got his gift from the gods and he now has a safety car. Him and Sancho is. Keke's in. Mubarak stays out, Anryu stays out, Lewis is in, Ralchio is in. Understandably, he's trying to overtake into the pit lane. Sebastian Vettel-esque from the Irishman. Tyne in as well. So it'll be Mubarak from Anryu. Then we really don't know how this is going to play out. There's a couple of double stacks here. Damiano has entered the pit lane as well. Izza's going to come out in a very handy 3rd position. No, Izza's stayed out in the circuit, hence why Izza is 3rd position. Keke will come out in 4th, it'll then be Lewis, Tyne. Ralchio's not going to lose as much as he potentially would have, because he would have dropped right to the back of this train anyways, and potentially even lost a spot to LRB. Now he can defend LRB, and he is ahead here in Le Castellet. Damiano is going to come out ahead of Zane, and Have then is going to enter the pit lane as well. And Sancho is, and Marcus will be able to catch back up. It'll be a 13-car dash to the end of this French Grand Prix. If you're enjoying the action here in PSF3, you should be. Brilliant race so far. Make sure to hit that subscription button and make sure to check out our title sponsors. Apologies for that. Our title sponsors, GT Omega. This is a hectic one. Evan's slowly losing his voice, but my goodness me, do we have a thrilling end to this French Grand Prix. Very similar to Spain. Very, very similar to Spain.
Nice to say, Spain turned out to be very, very chaotic afterwards, despite being generally calm enough beforehand. In this case, the chaos has already broke out a little bit there, where it did mix up people. And now, this is where you could see a lot of things happen as well. Once again, you've got soft runners trying to get through medium runners, and whether one of them, or maybe it could be multiple of the soft runners, trip over themselves trying to get past medium runners.
Now, there's a question here in the stream chat, Brendan. Not more a question, more an opinion from Lucky Royale, who, Lucky, we're very, very thankful that you have that you've joined us for all 3 races this season, so we do greatly appreciate that. Hence why we're going to discuss your opinion here. I have to say, I think I might agree with you. He said he's not sure if Anriu's made the right call. That goes for Anriu, Isa and Mubarak. I'm not sure they've made the right call either. However, in Spain, it worked out for one. That one would be Mubarak, because he's leading. And that's not a pun, because he has won in his gamer tag, I can promise you that. But I don't know if these mediums are going to have enough wear in them to keep up with those fresh softs. We're going to have 4 laps, or we're going to have lap 24, 25, 26, 27. 4 laps of racing to the end of this Grand Prix. I think the softs are clearly the better option from here.
I would agree for lap 24 and possibly lap 25, but lap 26 and 27 are a whole different story, because this is France, one of the highest stake tracks on the calendar, because you go through so many high speed corners where the tyres are just screaming for help. Surely these softs will be a little bit cooked by the time you get around towards the penultimate and final lap. So it's a game you can play, but whether you actually hit the red is a whole other story. Otherwise you may be eating the black, and we're not talking about tarmac here, so.
Well, whatever happens, my goodness me, is it gonna be exciting. The Anriu fan club out supporting, good to see NL or Wizzy supporting Keke. Good to see all of you in the stream chat, and I do hope you're enjoying or will enjoy what is about to go down. The Anriu army behind his man Mubarak looking for redemption. There is a lot of factors outside this Grand Prix circuit that makes these drivers want to win, but the only factors that matter is whoever crosses that start-finish line first. Not too sure if Sancho and Marcus will be able to catch up. Not too sure if we will be green this lap. I think we might have to go one more due to those cars not catching up. We will go one more. The safety car passes the pit lane, meaning we're only going to have 25, 26 and 27 of racing, which I believe gives us DRS on the last lap.
Yeah, that changes everything now, because it gives the soft 1 extra lap. However, their grip won't be quite up there in wet, because even this kind of running is going to eat at them a little. So again,
this is getting more interesting by the second, because with less laps, your likes of Ralchio, Tyne, LRB, Damiano, maybe even Lewis will be a little bit more risky when they're overtakes. They don't have the same amount of time. We were thinking potentially 4 laps of racing, and although it's only 1 lap more, it's a big difference in terms of this Grand Prix. But nevertheless, the softs will be good to the end now, surely. Brendan, you made a very valid point saying it's a high deg track, but surely these cars can do 3 laps of racing on the set of Pirelli soft compounded tyres.
Yeah, I would hope they could, but even still, they are going to see, like, the mediums. They're the kind of tyre that really likes or can do well around France, because it has the balance between pace and durability. So it's going to be interesting to see how much wear these guys have on these soft tires. If it isn't that much, they're okay. But if they start to like wear out quickly, then you could see a last lap where these medium runners start to even out in pace, and they might even think we can actually start catching back onto these guys.
Well, Bernd Maylander will exit the Circuit Paul Ricard for the final time this evening here in the PSF 3 Championship. Mubarak will lead the pace round the final few corners. Anryu in second, Isa in third. There's a lot at play as we go racing already. Really quick restart from Mubarak. He has caught Anryu napping, but what sort of run is Mubarak going to get through the final corner? He's almost got a second already. This is a monster of a restart from Mubarak. This is a brilliant restart from Mubarak, and it's getting all argy-bargy. Lewis losing positions before the start-finish line. Not even sure if those moves are legal as of now. Free wide into the first corner. Ralkio taking all the risks. Late on the brakes down the inside of the Haas Formula 1 car. Hangs it round the outside. Bit of contact between the two. More contact. Tyne and Lewis go off the circuit. The championship leader will not be keeping his championship lead at this rate. Quite crucially, Keke looking to get back in the DRS of Anryu. Anryu's fallen out of the DRS of Mubarak. May not potentially be a win on the cards for Mubarak. That got real messy through the first corner. Lewis still battling with Damiano. Look at this one. Damiano, the corner where he made the mistake. He's made an excellent move, but is he able to keep it here with Lewis? Lewis has got a great run round the outside, heading in towards the Mistral chicane for the 25th of 27 time. Lewis trying to hang it round the outside. He's trying to hook it. That's a really late braking manoeuvre for the Haasman. Damiano trying to switch him inside out, heading through the chicane. It's not going to work out for him on this occasion, but will it work out round the outside of turn number 10? This is an excellent battle for 8th position here. All points matter in this championship at this early stage. Still side by side in towards turn 11, the corner where all this drama initially kicked off. And it's going to be Lewis who gets the spot. Excellent move from the Haasman. He worked that one all the way from turn 3 to turn 11.
Yeah, good move for the Haas. And now the key is for somebody's running a Keke. Can you start passing Anryu quickly? Because if you can, then Mubarak is a possibility. But if you
He needs to work and work fast. There is only 2 laps of racing to go, and he has to gain and pass Mubarak if he wants to win this race. The gap is slowly cutting down between Mubarak and Anryu. Mubarak not perfect, obviously, but Keke, his own fate is in his own hands here. He needs to get past Anryu as quick as possible. Needs to work a move past the German in towards turn number 8 and 9 and then set his goals on the Aston Martin. But this doesn't work unless he gets this done into the chicane. Lewis spins and that'll be the end of the day for Lewis, unfortunately. That is his race pretty much over. Here comes Keke. The finishman is going to work a move on the Alfa Romeo Sauber. Outside for the Williams Racing Machine. He's going to have to brake oh so late. Braking on the curb. Never usually works out, but Keke makes it work on Anryu. Anryu just looking to keep his car in contention here for this French Grand Prix. Keke gets the launch of a lifetime. He has 1 lap to chase down Mubarak to take his race win that maybe rightly deserves at this point. This is excellent racing between these two. Anryu, though, still keeping with it. Ralkio looking up the inside of Isa. Ralkio would love a podium, as Ralkio, of course, led this race for a brief point.
Time to be passed with Damiano.
Tyne as well, losing spots to Damiano. There's no front right end plate for that Red Bull Racing. The other Red Bull Racing is under huge amounts of pressure from Ralkio. Ralkio looking to sneak it up the inside in towards turn 14. Looking to hook it round the outside of the Red Bull Racing man. He's got the tyre advantage. He's got the exit. That's a great move from the Irishman. Up to 4th position. He'll be looking to target Anryu to potentially take this race lead. 1.7 seconds Keke must catch, and his best overtaking opportunity is probably turn 11. But if needs be, he can go for it at the last corner. He has a full lap to go for this one. Keke needs to give it his all on those tyres, which potentially could be starting to wear, as we discussed during the brief safety car period. Ralkio, he's in a much better spot to get his target car. His target car is Anryu. He wants a podium. Anryu's not going to have DRS. Ralkio will. The drag reduction system is active. Keke 1.3 at this stage in the Grand Prix. He's going to put a lot of work in if he wants to get past Mubarak. Here comes Ralkio. up and past Anryu. Before the chicane, Ralkio on the podium. The McLaren of LRB is going to get past Izza due to a penalty count. 1.2 up the front between Mubarak and Keke. This is looking good if you're Mubarak at this stage. Keke not gaining enough, not gaining half enough on this final lap of this French Grand Prix. Heading through turn number 10 for the final time. Now we get to the tricky corners. We get to the ones where the tyre deg is ferocious. Who has the better tyres? At this stage, I would be inclined to say our race leader Mubarak, because Keke is not even gaining, but it would still be an impressive second position. Heading through turn number 13 for the final time. There's still a lot on the line for these cars. Mubarak is home and dry unless there's a very, very late error. Heading through the final corner. Keke wasn't able to get close enough. He's pushing till the last moment. But Mystic Mubarak will get revenge here in France. He wins the French Grand Prix on the circuit, and he'll keep this one across the line. Keke does get within a second and finishes second. Ralkio third, Anryu fourth. LOB in a drag race gets fifth. Zane, or Hav, gets sixth. Hav was nowhere in this one. Zane gets seventh. Then I believe we're going to have to wait and see. My goodness me. That is race of the season so far for sure.
Yep, a brilliant end to that Grand Prix. And I have to say, really to the championship belt, because there doesn't seem to be anyone clearly getting away with it right now. So it should actually be a very, very open fight for this championship. So, well, Mubarak, he's shown the pace in all 3 rounds, but finally now it seems like he's going to be able to take the points he has been deserving of.
Mubarak gets his revenge in Paul Ricard. He will spray the race-winning champagne for Aston Martin Aramco. That is an absolute cracker of a race around Paul Ricard. We said it was going to be good, and we do appreciate you joining us. Here is your full race results then. Mubarak wins ahead of Keke. It is then Ralkio, Anryu, LRB, Hav, Zane, Tyne, Damiano, Izza. It is then Marcus, Sancho is, Lewis, and Sipala. And then your non-finishers were Denso and Just Brandt. We are going to try our absolute best to get someone in for a post-race interview. We do have Mubarak, Keke and Ralkio on the chopping block. We will try to get somebody in for a post-race interview, whether we can or not, folks. We will certainly try our best, but that was an absolute cracker. I know I've said that about 10 times, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, very good race. We are. I'll just see if they do join us for the interviews. We'll figure that out in a moment.
Yeah, just pop on the message to them now. Usually we get at least one. We'll try and get someone in at least. But that was a great race. Really, really good race. Mubarak won with a race time of 45 minutes 25 seconds for those who are interested. Ralkio. We will get a race interview with Ralkio. None from Keke, and I can't really imagine we'll get one from Mubarak. I think Mubarak struggles a little bit with his English, and he just prefers not to do it, which we of course respect. We have the utmost respect for that. But if you have any questions for Ralkio, do let us know in the stream chat. We're happy to read them out. We're happy to ask. We will ask the tough questions for these tough racers. And that was certainly an unbelievable battle. We're going to hear from Ralkio any second, folks. He's just going to join the waiting room. There's a couple of drivers for the PSF1 race. So your podium for PSF1, if you're interested, is Nando, Marcados and Fabi. But we're going to bring Ralkio in straight away, folks. Ralkio, can you hear us?
Hello.
We weren't gonna strand you in the waiting room with the PSF1 drivers for too long, but we have you in here now. Congratulations on third position. From our perspective, that was absolute chaos. What was it like from your perspective?
Yeah, that race was so tough. I'm absolutely sweating. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. But like in the end, it could have been more. But P3 isn't bad, I suppose, and yeah, I'll take it.
It is your second consecutive podium here in the PSF3 Championship. Can you launch a championship challenge, maybe? Because we know there's a lot of quick guys on that grid.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of quick guys from over at KK team, but yeah, a few incidents tonight, a few people losing points in the championship. Hopefully I'll just stay consistent, and hopefully that'll prove good in the end.
Well, I have the pleasure to say you're going to be doing a little Q&A for us. We have a couple of questions here from the stream chat for you. The first one is, did you think the race was over after getting wing damage?
Yeah, definitely. I'll be honest, I got the wing damage and I put my hand straight through my mirror. My table. I was absolutely fuming. It was just so unlucky, because I thought if I got away from that, I'd be in clean air. And I could have made something of that. And then when the safety car came out, I changed the wing, got in softs, and yeah.
Next one then we have is from Luca Rata, I believe. He says, how did you manage to
Good
keep...
engineer.
Oh, okay, well...
What do you say?
He says, how did you manage to keep those nerves at bay after suffering wing damage from Mubarak's spin? We didn't actually know you got wing damage from Mubarak's spin, so I'm going to assume that is correct.
Yeah, it was like dark orange. It was really bad.
So, Brendan, any questions?
Not really, but I suppose with this result, really, and it's obviously some drivers like tying, not scoring, would you say, like, if you were able to keep that kind of consistency over the course of the season, would your championship really be in play given some of the tracks that be coming up?
I haven't looked at the calendar too much, but I'll definitely put a bit more practice in and hopefully improve my qualies, which is probably my biggest weak point. Today I was like 3.5 tenths off my PB. But yeah, hopefully I can get the championship fight going.
Well, thank you very much, Dara, for joining us.
Thanks.
Apologies, thank you very much, Ralkio, for joining us. But Ralkio hasn't looked at the calendar. You're going to look at it now, folks. As you can see on your screen, it is Paul Ricard that we were at today. We head to round 4 at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. We then head to Azerbaijan, the Baku City Street Circuit, followed by Shanghai. It is then Mexico, Bahrain, Hungary, Brazil, and Portugal to round up the season. Thank you very much for joining us in the stream chat, ladies and gentlemen. You all enjoyed that one. I can tell by some of the comments. We certainly enjoyed it as well. From myself, Brendan, and Ralkio, who's still with us, thank you very much for watching PSF3 Action. You can find us every Monday at 8 p.m. Who needs F1? We have the good action here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll now bring you, once again, a brief word from our title sponsors, GT Omega. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you next time.
This broadcast was brought to you by GT Omega, proudly supporting PSGL.